YouTube, how's it going? It's your boy J Loves here, bringing you guys a brand new video here on the channel. Now, again, I do want to apologize, I guess. I mean, I know you guys are sick and tired of me apologizing every single video, but again, we're coming to the deader stages of the FIFA cycle, and with the new FIFA coming out in about a month, I genuinely don't know what to upload at the moment, so I do have kind of a two-parter of a video here today. It's going to be the confirmed deals alongside the Premier League predictions video as the league starts back up in, I want to say, 2 weeks. Well, maybe a little less than 2 weeks away. So I had my predictions set up for a while, but I didn't know when would be the right time to actually make this video. I was actually going to make the predictions video maybe 3 to 4 days before the league actually starts, but I think it's best to get the prediction out there now. So when it comes to the end of the season, I can go back and see how the predictions were. So alongside with this, if you guys want to see anything else, let me know down in the comments on what to do until FIFA 21 drops. So with the confirmed deals going out, we got a big old issue going on with Lionel Messi, which we will talk about at the end of this section of the video. Donny van de Beek, of the first signing of Manchester United. I think he's going to fit in well with our system. We probably go from a two-man midfield to a three-man with himself, Bruno Fernandes, and Paul Pogba. Ooh, you're looking at real contenders for the league, honestly, in my personal opinion. Next up, we have Alan from Napoli reuniting with his old boss, Carlo Ancelotti, for, I believe, 25 million. So that's going to be another big deal for Everton. I think they're also going after James Rodriguez. So that's going to be very, very interesting. This was all from the last, 24 to 48 hours as well, before we continue on further. Sandro Tonali. If you played FIFA the last, I want to say 2 years, you know about this absolute wonder kid named Sandro Tonali. He was actually confirmed to go to Inter, but AC decided to swoop him up with a loan for 10 mil with 20 mil to buy him permanently. So also with AC Milan being fully licensed in FIFA 21, he could potentially get himself a game face, which I'm very, very happy about for Sandro himself. Ciro Immobile, league's top scorer in the Serie A, has signed himself a new deal that will keep him at Lazio until he is 35. And he's been bagging 30-plus goals. So I guess you could say that is a very fully deserved contract. So, again, like I mentioned before, James Rodriguez, rumored with Everton, could be just a matter of days until he is a confirmed deal. Matt Doherty, signed for Tottenham. Oh, does that mean Sergio Aurier is going to leave the club? Honestly, I think so. Because, with this whole, introduction to Tottenham, they had, tweets of him being, an Arsenal fan, and then Matt was like, yeah, let me delete those as I'm going to be a Tottenham player, so that's going to be fun. And Ibrahimovic. Now, if you guys don't know, right over there is a signed jersey of his that I have, as you guys have seen from months ago. But, yeah, he signed a new deal with AC Milan for, I believe, another year. So, that's good for them. And now, it's a short part one, but this is now part two. The Premier League predictions. Oh boy. Now, honestly, I think it took me a couple of days to make this list. So, I'm hoping that I'll be spot on, but I feel like there'll be some that is just going to be wrong. So, we are first going to start off with relegation. Who's going back to the championship? West Brom. I mean, they've recently lost, I believe, their fullback in Nathan Ferguson on a free deal to Crystal Palace. But I think they've got a little bit more money to spend now that they've been promoted. But I feel West Brom, I think, just doesn't have the depth to stay up. So I got them going down alongside Brighton in the 19th spot, which could be a bit harsh considering the fact that they've just picked up Adam Lallana on a free deal. I think they've signed Joel Veltman. So, but again, I just don't see Brighton going the distance. And at the 18th position, West Ham. They just had an absolute nightmare last season. I think they just barely survived. I think they ended up like 16th. But I don't see West Ham staying up this year. I can see them going down to the Championship. But hey, I could be wrong. Now for the mid-table. Just surviving relegation at the 17th spot, we have Fulham. Now, with Fulham, they've got a buttload of money to spend. It's a 200 mil takeover. So, Fulham, if they make a couple of decent signings in the positions that they need, I feel, and they could just stay up. I think they also sold off Harrison Reed to Southampton for I think like 10 mil. So that's a little bit of extra money coming in. So that's good on them, I suppose. 16th, Crystal Palace. And I feel like the only reason they are going to be staying up is either because of Wilfried Zaha or Andros Townsend. Now, if you guys looked at it last year, Townsend had that absolute stunner of a volley against, I believe it was Man City. If you haven't seen that, you may as well just look it up and see why they stayed up in the first place. So, yeah, I think Crystal Palace is going to end up 16th, mainly because of maybe Zaha and Townsend. 15th, I've got Southampton. Now, the reason I put them here is, again, it's quite simply obvious. Southampton, they're always known for being mid-table, even close down to the relegation zone. I don't know. I mean, with Danny Ings, he's been absolutely... I feel like he's been the main predecessor for Southampton, as he was the one that has been scoring all of the goals for them as of late. But with the signing of Salisu from, I believe it was Real Valladolid, the team that's owned by Brazilian Ronaldo, I think they could have a serious fight to stay up, like they always do. 14th, I put Burnley at 14th. Now, again, with Burnley, it's a bit hit and miss for them. Because most games they just play out of their minds, whereas other games you just don't know what they're doing. And they haven't even made any signings yet this window. I think the only thing that happened with them is the departure of Joe Hart to Tottenham, if I am correct. But I feel like, again, Burnley is just one of those sides that's just going to stay mid-table. But again, I could be wrong. At the end of the year. Yeah. 13th is a bit of a shocker. I put Leeds United there. Now, if you guys haven't been keeping up with the news and everything like that, they've just signed Rodrigo from Valencia for, I believe, about 30 mil. So it's going to be very interesting to see Rodrigo in the Premier League, see if he could keep up the caliber. And Leeds also agreed personal terms with Rodrigo de Paul from, I think, Udinese. So, I mean, you may as well just sign up the friggin' Argentinian national team at this stage. I think they also signed a center back in Robin Koch from the Bundesliga. So, I think Leeds is going to be a fun team to watch, honestly. And with Calvin Phillips leading the line, just recently being called up to the England national squad, you're looking at a team that will most likely stay up in the Prem. Hell, maybe they can even pull off a Sheffield United and possibly end mid-table. Maybe even higher up. Who knows? 12th place. Aston Villa. Now, with Aston Villa, I got high hopes for Aston Villa. I'm hoping that this isn't second season syndrome, where they just stay up the first season and then go back down in the second season. Because if you've seen the final day, it was just a madness. Villa stayed up, I believe, on goal difference. So I feel like they've got a lot to prove this season, that they can compete in the Premier League, with the likes of Jack Grealish being rumored with multiple clubs. John McGinn, I feel like he's been rumored with a lot of clubs recently. I mean, you guys can help me out in the comments with that, because I don't really keep up with Villa that much. So, yeah. 11th. I feel like this is going to surprise a lot of people. I put Newcastle in 11th. Mainly because, well, I had them in 11th. I'm going to keep them in 11th now, because they had that rumor of a big takeover, which was supposed to be like 300 odd million injected into the Newcastle club itself, but now that that issue has been, I guess, called off, I feel like I should have put them maybe a little bit lower. But with Joelinton, they just haven't they haven't found their striker that they need. I feel like they really need a goal-scoring clinical striker, apart from Joelinton, apart from Dwight Gale, who I think was actually loaned out to Crystal Palace. I could be... no, it wasn't Crystal Palace. It was West Brom. So I feel like they're going to call him back. They probably may use him as a rotation player. I don't know. But we will see. 10th place, Everton. Now, if you guys haven't heard in the previous section, they've just signed Allen from Napoli, and they're going after James Rodriguez at the moment, which is most likely going to be a done deal within the next couple of days, because they're in advanced talks at the moment with him. If they can get their hands on James in the Premier League level, I feel like they have a really good shot of getting mid-table. Maybe even a little bit higher, depending on how their form is with all of that stuff. And plus with Leighton Baines recently retiring, and Sidibe, I believe, going back to Monaco, or I think they just terminated his contract. If they can pick up a decent fullbacks, yeah, you got yourself a pretty decent squad. You got yourself a decent squad. 9th place. The team that everybody thought would go back down to the Championship in their first season. Sheffield United. They just pulled off an absolute wonder season. But again, I don't want Sheffield United having second season syndrome, where they just impressed everybody, and then the next season they go back down to the Championship. I'd love to see Sheffield United back in European competition. That is the one thing I'd love to see eventually down the line. But I feel like they can't do that if they don't make proper signings, you know? I mean, last year they brought in Sander Berg and all of them, but I feel like they just haven't found consistency. That's what it is, really. It's all about consistency. And I feel like they just haven't found that yet. 8th place, we got Wolves, who were, I believe, knocked out this year in, I believe, the quarterfinals of the Europa League. So, I feel like they just got to make a few more signings themselves in order to really have a push for top 7, or maybe even Champions League, depending on what the case is. And now, that's mid-table done, and now we got the top 4 in Europa League. 7th. Oh god, I'm just gonna regret this. I put Tottenham in 7th. Now why? Honestly, I don't know. Considering the fact that we are all well aware of how much they bottle certain competitions. But with Spurs, they really gotta step it up. I mean, you got the likes of Harry Kane, you got the likes of Son, you got Lucas Moura, you got Dele Alli. again, it's just all about consistency, and they just haven't found that. I believe they lost Jan Vertonghen on a free deal to, I believe, Benfica, so they really got to go for a new CB to really improve the center halves, although they did bring in Matt Doherty. So I guess you could say it's kind of an improvement, but who knows? Who knows? Now, 6th place, Arsenal. Why I put Arsenal there? Again, they brought in the likes of Gabriel Magalhaes from, I believe, Los Lille. And they've won 2 trophies in the space of, I want to say, 3 months? Maybe a little more than that, because they won the FA Cup and they won the Community Shield. So, 2 titles in the space of about 3 months with Mikel Arteta. And they're looking to sell off a couple of players as well, maybe bring in new players as well. They've got Saliba back from Saint Etienne. I think they're probably going to run Socrates and Gabriel at the back. Maybe put David Luiz on the bench. I don't know. But here's how I see it. Arsenal, fine goal-scoring ability. They will reach Europa League. Maybe even get Champions League again. Or for the first time in like a couple of years. I don't know. But we will see. 5th place. We got Leicester. Now, this season coming in, Leicester City are looking for top 4. They've just recently sold off Ben Chilwell to Chelsea for, I believe it was like 50-odd mil, which makes him, I want to say, the 2nd most expensive fullback transfer, like, ever. I think first place was Benjamin Mendy to Man City for like 55 mil. So, the fact that Chelsea spent 50 mil on a fullback, it's just absurd. It's just absurd. Because nowadays, with fullbacks, it's now important more than ever to have your fullbacks charging up the field, maybe overlapping the wingers to create the space on maybe the pullback. But you don't really have the legs going down the wings. I mean, you do have Reece James going down the right-hand side, but I feel like they're going to line up like Chilwell at the back, Rudiger, maybe Aspi center back, and Reece James as the fullback. That could be a possibility. I don't know. But that's for Chelsea, and I put them in a different position. But for Leicester, if they can make some big boy deals, get a replacement fullback, they're looking at, I believe, Timothy Castagne from Atalanta. So it could be a decent option for their fullback position. Well, that's the Europa League spots done, and now we've got the top 4 left. 4th place, Man City. I know, shocking. You're coming off of arguably the worst season that they've had in a long time. Knocked out by Olympique Lyon. I think it was early... Was it early doors for them? I think it was... They got knocked out in the semis. No, it wasn't the semis. They got beat by Arsenal in the FA Cup final. So, Pep Guardiola, I feel like this is going to be his final calling. I feel like this is going to be his final season as Man City manager. And they got to go big. And they have, and gone big they have so far. Because they've signed Nathan Ake. They've signed Ferran Torres. They could be even in the likes of sign Lionel Messi. Just if everything can just like go to plan with Messi and Barcelona. Because if you guys don't know, well, as of recently, Messi has cut off all contact with Bartomeu, who was the director of Barcelona. So, I think the director himself actually had to call up Messi's father to talk about his contract. And they said, well, Barca say Messi will not leave unless the £700 million release clause is activated. 700 mil. Who's paying 700 million? Like, I saw this fact on Twitter. Like, if you sold out, like, all of the Messi shirts, plus if you make other sales here and there, they still need 450 mil. Where are they going to get that from? I don't know, but I got City fourth. Unless unless they can pull off like an absolute madness and just sign Messi, I don't see them. I see them barely getting the top 4 spot. Third place. I'm being a little ballsy with this one, but I feel like they can get the job done. Manchester United. I'm putting them up in the 3rd spot. Yes, we have just signed Donny van de Beek from Ajax for, I believe, about 40 odd mil. And the midfield 3 of Bruno, Pogba, and Van de Beek is just going to be... It's arguably going to be one of the best midfields in the Premier League. So, but again, we need a big boy striker. The Sancho deal could still happen. It's a small possibility, but I feel like it could happen. Because Sancho even said himself that he wouldn't rule out a move to Manchester. So, whether or not it will happen, if not this season, maybe next season. But I guess Sancho wanted to stay because of, I guess they just didn't want to sell him for I believe it was 120 mil. Instead of doing what the team in second that I put them as, Chelsea. I put them in second. Now, can we please talk about Chelsea and the transfer window that they're having at the moment? Like, what is going on? 'Cause just listen to the caliber of players that they have signed. Timo Werner. Malang Sarr on a free deal. Hakim Ziyech. Kai Havertz, potentially within the next couple of days, and Thiago Silva on a free deal as well. They are building up a squad that could potentially contend for the title. I'm saying that right now. That midfield of Havertz, probably, maybe Mateo Kovacic, and N'Golo Kante. That midfield 3 has to be the best midfield that I have seen. I think it's, in terms of the midfield, I'm going to put Chelsea as the number 1 and then Man United as second. I mean, that just may be coming from me as a Man U fan. But, again, Chelsea, I'm putting them in second. I mean, the signings are ridiculous. But if they don't play well, then that result is going to be absolutely nothing. And if they can get themselves like an Andre Onana or a Jan Oblak, you could definitely see them as title challengers. Which leaves 1 spot left. And as much as it pains me to say it, I think Liverpool are going to win the league again. Don't get me wrong, the signings that Chelsea have made, they can really, really push for a Premier League title. But I just don't see Liverpool. If their front 3 of Mane, Firmino, and Salah, and as long as their back line, well, specifically Van Dijk and Alisson, if they just play like they always have, you could see another Premier League title going back to Anfield. So, with that being said, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, leave a like on the vid. Leave a comment down below on what else you want to see from me. Because it's getting kind of dead at the moment, and I really don't know what other content to put out. But, again, let me know in the comments what you want to see. Leave a like on the vid. Sub if you're new. Until next time, peace.